Hey, so I'm down here in the shop and I'm looking at some stuff, and I'm definitely like, I try not to let stuff affect me too much, but it does, and that's just a fact. You know, life is life, and life will just keep coming no matter what happens. So all you can do is just keep pushing forward, but sometimes it can be hard. But and that's kind of where I'm finding myself, and it's difficult. I left a job because not because of any. I loved the job. The job was great. The last four jobs I've had have all been amazing jobs, and I wasn't displeased with the pay. The last one was the best pay I've had in a long, long time, man. But I can never seem to. People don't. There's always at least one or two people that just don't like that I'm a massive overachiever, and I like to put my passion into whatever it is I'm doing, and it seems to highlight their lack of passion and the the things that I do that they wish that they had themselves or whatever. I don't know, but that's what I'm guessing because that's the only thing it can be. I'm not like a total asshole. I'm a bit of an asshole sometimes, but only when I'm pushed. And I have boundaries, and I make my boundaries clear when they're crossed. And when they keep continually being crossed, I get upset about it because I've already said something. I said something nicely. I said something firmly. And now I'm upset. I don't like to be pushed to that point. It shouldn't take me having to be upset before people start listening to me. And that's very frustrating to me. But anyway, like I said, it's real easy to get caught up in all the negative shit, but we got to be grateful for what we got. And like, I have a fully operational lapidary shop. I have stuff that I can sell that I don't need for money, and I have a bunch of material that's already produced. And I'm getting to that point, like where my saw blades are dull. I do have I have my the 7-inch rigid that I bought, and with a brand new blade. I just haven't finished setting that up yet. And then I have this over here. I can't remember. I think this is an 8-inch. Here, this one. Let's get these marbled fabric off of there. But this is a good tile saw, and it's got a good blade on it, and it's a sharp blade. And it's actually a really good blade, but I haven't set this up either. And if you can look, you can see this hose it's hard and pinched off. The water's not going to go through that, so that hose has to be replaced before I can even use that. And the hoses on the Genie need to be replaced, and possibly the diaphragm in that. The pump's working, but it's not moving air. It's not splashing water up on it. See, these things, they shoot air through it, and that air pushes the water that gathers in this little cavity here, and it pops it up through that little hole and splatters it on through that little teeny hole there. See, it gathers it in there, and it squirts it out there, splashes it. You put these under here, and it splashes it up onto this wheel, which spins, and the water, it keeps the wheel wet that way, so it doesn't overheat and it doesn't burn your shit up. Well, those don't work, so I've been doing that, this gravity feed here, where I hang up a bucket, and I have a little thing on there, god damn it, the valve. I have a little valve on there, and so I just open up the water, and then I use this light so I can see what I'm doing. But you can see my wheels. I like I said, when I bought this stuff, I knew that this stuff was going to be an issue soon. I could tell that this stuff had been sitting unused for a while, and stuff like that where you have a grinding surface like sandpaper and shit. And I don't know if you guys know, but like if you leave a piece of sandpaper sitting for like a year or two, it's going to work, but it's only going to work for a very short amount of time because it's brittle, it's dried out, all the moisture that was in there. And yes, there is moisture in it still. That's what's keeping it held together, is that it has moisture in it. Once it's bone dry, it'll turn to dust. But Anyway, you get the idea, and that's with anything. Moisture is what keeps it all together. But I got that saw there, and I've got this saw here. This one needs hoses. This one just needs the blade changed, and I can use that. I haven't even sparked this guy up yet. And then I've got a bunch of stuff over here that I still haven't even set up yet completely. But I need to go through it and make sure it works right and make sure it's hooked up the way that I want it hooked up. But here's the material. Now, some of it is to a finished state, you know. Like the hearts I could probably use. This doesn't go over there, though. That goes over here. And I could probably use the tiger eye and some of these pendants. The obelisks, probably the tarot card markers, energy, sealers, and then some of these fossils, like these little ones here, are good and shiny. These bigger ones need to be gone over again, and you can see on this it's rhodensite. You see the little scratches right there. And you can see, like, on some of the faces, it just needs to be gone over just a little bit more to get that good and polished. And, but there is a lot of stuff that is, like these guys are good. All these, the serpentine is good. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, and some of these petrified wood ones from Chris's Wood those are good. Some of these eggs are good, but some of them aren't. And then I've got these are all my rune prototypes. I'm not sure exactly. I'll have to make them all uniform size, before I can actually make a set of runes, unless there's like specific runes that are going to be made a different size to make them more or less likely to be pulled or whatever. I'll have to figure all that shit out. But anyway, it's just to a point where, like, I'm out of money. I have resources. I have stuff I can sell, but it's not selling to get money. And it's just, I'm at a frustrating point. And it's easy to get very disheartened, let that get to me, and just want to give up, But stuff like this doesn't happen on its own. You can't just wave a magic wand and everything happens. You have to put in the work, and people mistake this. They think manifestation, it's not that you just imagine something and poof, it appears, That's not how it works. When you visualize something, you're visualizing a reality that doesn't exist, but you're visualizing it. In visualizing it, you have already partially collapsed that part of the wave function, but it's only collapsed in here. It hasn't collapsed in here, in the reality. So in order to make that manifest in reality, you have to actually do the physical action in reality to make it happen. So at least that's how I see manifestation. Now, people will argue, I don't care. It really doesn't matter to me. But what I'm doing that's what I'm doing. Is I visualize from start to finish every detail, everything that I need, and then do it, I go through those things, and then I will make mistakes. So I will have to correct those mistakes as I go along. This one, I have this habit, I have self-sabotaging, and I do that. I'm going on way too long, man. This is almost 10 minutes now. Nobody's going to listen to this. But anyway, I self-sabotage subconsciously, and that might be what I did with this, I invested my last $10,000, maxed out my credit cards to get some Australian opal. I got a great deal on it, which is a perfect excuse to self-sabotage by buying more than you can afford and more than you should. A little bit is fine, but I can make the excuse, which it is true. I bid on a little bit first, and it went through at about the 15-20% rate that you expect it to, and then So I bid on a bunch thinking I would get, 15, 20% at the most. And that's what I would pay. Well, I got more like 85%. And so I ended up having to pay for that. And so that's what I did. And I've been kind of stuck since then because I spent all my money and I don't have a way to recover it. And so I'm just in a tight spot where I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to use what I have, like the wheels on the Genie, use them as much as I can to produce as much material as I can, get all the supplies I need, and start creating, items that I can sell and make money. But it has not been easy, and it's been rough. Like I spent all that time, got everything ready, and I was gonna make the jewelry at the farmer's market at a table out there where people could see, you actually making it as you're making it. Plus, it's, obvious that I live here, so it's like they know where you live. They know if something, they have recourse. They can come back and write dirty notes on your front door if something goes wrong or you screw them over somehow. But anyway, you get the idea. There's, you have accountability that way, and I think that's something that is missing in a lot of things these days. So I want that. I like that, and but yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but I'm trying to stay positive, trying to keep doing what I can when I can. I almost got that parking spot filled, and I got saws that are functional. The Genia will work for a little bit longer, but there's some of those wheels that are in trouble. They're in trouble. Like that. This one's almost bare. This is almost bare right there. You can see that. Almost bare. That one, I'm having to start skipping that step, but the one in front of it ain't much better. Now that one's a little better. This one's all right. This one's still good, and this one probably is getting close to needing to be resurfaced. But this one's really bad. That one definitely needs to be resurfaced. And I should have gotten that diamond paste or the diamond powder and the epoxy, and I might just do that. But yeah, just trying to think of what I can do with what I have, and that's the hard part, is trying to think what I can do with what I have and do that. But anyway, I just wanted to give a little bit, I don't want it to all be like cheery, positive stuff, because that isn't life, man. Life is not all cheery and positive. I want to be real, and the reality is I have put myself in a situation. I can't blame anybody else. I'm an adult and I make my own decisions, and I have created a situation where I am under a lot of pressure and stress right now, and it's up to me to figure out how to fix that situation. So that's what I'm trying to do, and hopefully the old noggin figures something out quick. It's got to. But anyway, you guys have a happy new year. It's a new year. Things will change. Things will look up. This last year has been rough, I think, for fucking all of us. 2025 was a year to forget. But don't forget, forget all. Wow, I really need to trim my eyebrow, don't I? But look at that. I'm one of the Harakians. I think that's what they were from Dune. You remember? But anyway, shit'll work out, man. It will. It always does, but it can be hard sometimes. But it'll work out. But thanks, you guys. Take it easy.